So my second pregnancy, that's what we're on. And I thought the pregnancy was doomed. My husband did. I was upset about it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to tell people. I told my mom, and she said, let's just wait a little while and see what's happening. And, she had started me on progesterone because I was at her house, staying with her at this point for the summer, with my daughter, because we were doing, we do a lot of stuff in the summer. We go camping, go boating, and stuff like that. And my husband was doing some training for that summer. So I was at my mom's, and, she started me on progesterone, although it was later than, what it was previously. She said that's pretty much all that she could do, and we could pray and, hope that, this was going to work, and that, we weren't going to have to do the miscarriage thing again, and everything was going to be great. And so at 10 weeks, we went in, and they couldn't find a heartbeat with a Doppler, and that had never happened with Julia. They got a heartbeat on her at 9 weeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this again. I can't do this again. So they did an ultrasound, and there was a heartbeat. So that was rather emotional, and my husband wasn't there, and it was hard to deal with. Even thinking about having to do that again. And then, I'm trying not to get emotional now, if you can't tell. And then, 12 weeks rolled around, and I didn't want to stop the progesterone. I was too scared. So Mom said I could stay on it until 14 weeks. So I stayed on it until 14 weeks. And then I came off of it, and, it was fine. And then I found out my husband was deploying. And it was devastating to me. He was going to be deployed, and I was pregnant again, and we had a baby, and so we dealt with it. We went and found out what we were having another girl before he left, and he left. And I went back to Indiana, and I went and stayed with my mom in Indiana, with my daughter, my family. And I have a lot of family, so it was a lot of help with Julia and being pregnant. And my mom was excited because she was going to get to deliver this one. She couldn't deliver Julia because we were in Maryland and under their care. And she was excited, and it was going to go better. My delivery with Julia was not very nice. I was going to do it natural, and then I decided I wanted an epidural, and then they told me I couldn't get one for a while because there was no one available to do it. And then afterwards, that was a training hospital, and it was kind of traumatic afterwards because they took Julia and put her in the warmer, and I saw her over there, and they were doing what they needed to do, for my area because I had torn a little bit, and they were sewing it. And it actually took them over an hour to sew me because there was a student there, and they misdid it twice and had to undo it. And my epidural had started to wear off, so it was actually starting to hurt. And then after that experience, I got my baby back, and then they put me in a room. My mom was there, my husband was there, my sister was there. They put me in a room with my baby, and I did not hear from them again for like 12 hours. I believe they had actually forgotten that we were there because it was Thanksgiving. It was actually the day before Thanksgiving, and I didn't get food in the morning, and at that point my mom went out and was like, what's going on? She's not getting her food trays. She's, we'll bring her food, but nobody's checking on her or the baby and what's going on. So we went, and they finally came in and checked on us and what was going on. And then after a little bit of a fit on my part about them not caring about us and not, checking on us or whatever, what was the point in us being there, the next morning they let us leave. which wasn't 48 hours yet. It had only been 36 since I had her. It was Thanksgiving Day, and we went to my aunt and uncle's in Maryland. But I told you that story in short because from them having to sew me up so many times, I had some damage down there that caused me a lot of issues and pain and problems for about 4 to 5 months. So my advice is don't let them sew you up more than once. Make sure they do it right the first time. I understand things happen, but I didn't even want anyone to touch me or anything because I was not even a gynecologist because I didn't want it to hurt anymore, and it hurt every time I went to the bathroom. So it was not exactly ideal. So the fact that this second pregnancy, my mom was going to be able to do it. She was excited. She knew that she would do everything right, and that that she would be able to. I would be able to go naturally as I had wanted to with the first one, because she would help me go naturally, unlike them who just kind of left me in a room. And I decided to do water labor with the second one. And my husband got to come home from deployment. He came home, and then we had our second baby girl, and I did it in water labor, and then I got out of the tub and pushed once and she was out. So it was actually very, very fast. And my pregnancy my husband was deployed. I had a baby by I had my daughter, and I didn't have high blood pressure. I didn't have any issues with her. I didn't have to get ultrasounds all the time or NSTs all the time or anything of that nature. She was small. She was measuring small again. And at this point, they decided I just having small babies. Because my first daughter, when she was born, was small. So, she was only 18.75 inches long, and she weighed 6 pounds, 3 ounces. My second baby was 7 pounds, 6 ounces when she was born, and she was 19 inches long. So I just had small babies. So I was a little further along with Callison, my second baby, than I was with my first. So that pretty much made up for the length. The weight was because your second baby's usually heavier. But anyway, that's my story. And now it is 2015. My youngest, Callison, is almost 1. And me and my husband have decided we're not having any more kids. I can't do possible miscarriages again. Even though we didn't have one with Callison, it doesn't mean it won't happen again. And emotionally, I can't handle it. So we've decided we're not having any more kids. My husband's going to have a vasectomy, so we don't have to worry about it. And that's my story. Now, I'm doing this, and obviously there's a few videos from this, but I'm doing this for everyone to help them. I'm going to do some follow-up videos on the most popular questions that I get asked all the time. The how did you do it? The why me phase that you go through when you're going through infertility and miscarriages. The almost resentment of anyone around you that gets pregnant. I'll do a video on that as well. I'm not going to be able to do these today because my children are up now, but I will get around to doing them again. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is available here. You just have to verify with a CAPTCHA, I think it said, to get my email, and you can email me and I'll answer some questions if anyone has any questions. I can answer it in video or in message if you want it private. I will not mention any names. I do not plan on doing so, because I'm okay with telling my story and letting people know about it doesn't mean everyone is. So if you have questions, just ask and I will address them anonymously. So I pretty much did most fertility treatments that you could think of. I did all the testing, all the, everybody all up in my business all the time. And that's kind of what you go through. And there's no real way around that besides from going to doing adoption instead of trying the infertility route, which most people don't do right away. It takes most people a little while, not as long as us. I know several people who have adopted babies that had infertility issues, and usually people only wait a few years. We actually, before our successful pregnancy with Julia, it had been 8 years since we had figured out something was wrong. So it makes it a little difficult that we didn't adopt a baby, but that was because me and my husband had disagreements on it, that he wanted to keep trying and I didn't. And then I wanted to keep trying and he didn't. And then it went back and forth for a little while, and that's why we ended up not adopting a baby and ended up with our own, because we were determined and did not give up, even though it was emotionally wrecking on us. But you can email me and ask me any questions. That is all I have for right now. All right, thank you.